Really? All right.
All right, just like that, dude.
Cool.
I'll take it.
We'll get it going.
This weekend, you know, I'll probably say this every weekend. I said last weekend might be the best. This weekend might be better. I mean, you got 1 versus 2, so.
Yeah, SoCal is going to be hot.
Really hot.
Literally.
Like in the hundreds hot.
Yeah. All right. We are live here on Facebook. Right there is Zack Poff. I am Steve Montoya. Shout out to our Instagram live followers as
What's up, yo?
well. We're talking about the biggest games going on around the country. National Football Editor Zack Poff. We're going to get to the big dog, which is in SoCal. 1 versus 2 in a little bit. That's the big game going down. But there were actually some big games last night that went down, starting it off in Florida.
Yeah, South Florida. You know, a lot of people say they're the kings of talent when it comes to high school football. Let's go ahead and roll Miami Central versus Booker T highlights if we can. And
our editor's slow today.
A little slow, man. He's ready for Friday. You're getting a look there. They're little. I guess we'll call it slow mo. But you know Dalvin Cook, right, Steve? This is little bro, James Cook. Might end up being better. We'll see. But he had a big game last night. Had a touchdown against Booker T. Their defense is nice. Got a few sacks and they're loaded in the backfield. They're going to be a very, very good team. Might end up being one of the best teams from Florida. They're going to take this confidence with the win over Booker T. They're 2-0. They get Bishop Gorman next week now, too. So Booker T, a very good team. Get your hand out of the camera there, buddy. But it was a good win for Miami Central. It was one of the top 10 games of the week, and they got the dub there against Booker T. And, you know, Booker T with Tim Ice Harris, you know, they've won 4 state titles in the last 5 years. So a very good program, too.
All right, let's get to the second game that went down last night. What'd you see?
Yeah, I saw Andrew Van Buren. That's what I saw there for Chaminade. This is the only play we're going to show. This was one of his 4 rushing touchdowns. He balled for $150. Boise State commit. I'm very impressed with Andrew Van Buren, one of the best running backs in all of Southern California. All he had to do was pretty much replace TJ Pledger, who went on to IMG Academy. He's a top 50 recruit overall. And he's an Oklahoma commit. But we're going to find out how good Andrew Van Buren is next week. I think he's going to have a good game. They play St. John Bosco. So that's going to be an interesting game for Chaminade. They've had a couple of nice wins to start the year, especially a win over Mountain Point, who was a team just outside of the top 25 to start the year.
All right, if you just joined us, we are talking about the big games going on around the country. We will get to number 1 versus number 2 here in a minute. That's Zack Poff, our national football editor. We're breaking down some games that actually happened last night. One more game before we look ahead to tonight and this weekend, a Louisiana matchup. And some good squads there. Yeah,
according to our computer rankings, this was 1 versus 2. So let's roll the clips of John Curtis Christian against Landry Walker. John Curtis, man, defense is really good. You got a stud in Jay Curtis who leads that defense. One thing I do want to say, though, is this fan needs to get his hand out of the way in every shot for a defensive play by John Curtis, but they were good on defense. You're going to look at sophomore quarterback right there, Colin Guggenheim. He is only a sophomore, but he's a name to remember. I wanted to show this play, though. It was the best play of the night. 4-star wide receiver for Landry Walker, Devontae Jason, one-handed snag. Could be on top 10 plays of the week. We'll have to wait and see. But a big win for John Curtis, probably the number 1 team in all of Louisiana now. Landry Walker, you know, they lost their quarterback, Keaton Thompson, who was Louisiana Gatorade Football Player of the Year last year. He's now at Mississippi State, so they need to kind of get that quarterback position handled if they want to win another state title this year.
All right, we're going to get to some Facebook comments right now as people are chiming in to talk about this weekend. Liberty versus American Heritage is
top 10 game of the week.
That's getting a shout out. That's a big game.
And you can also watch that game live on NFHS Network later on today. So, you know, they have a lot of games they're streaming. I was able to watch Chaminade on Mountain Point on there last night. So go ahead and make an account. You know, it's not that expensive at all, and you get to watch a ton of high school football games. So.
All right, cool. So Alamany versus Jay Sarah, huge game tonight.
Yeah, Jay Sarah's nice.
Brian wants to talk about Folsom versus Jesuit.
You're the NorCal guy, so.
He expects Folsom to roll in that game. That game actually got moved to Folsom because of the heat here in Northern California. So that one, Folsom Jesuit, could be a good game. Folsom.
Yeah. Who are you taking?
It's hard to go against Folsom until somebody proves that they can beat them around here. So going to go Folsom there. But Jesuit looks pretty good. What do you think the chances are that Liberty beats Bishop Gorman this year?
I'm less than 5. I mean, 84-8 last year. That's all I got to say. You know, Liberty's good, though. I'm very impressed with Liberty. They beat Saguaro 51-20 last week, snapped their 26-game winning streak. So if they go down to Florida and beat American Heritage, I'll up that percentage to maybe 10.
All right. We'll get back to the comments here in just a minute. Let's get to it. It's happening tonight in Southern California. It's Mater Dei, number one, and number 2, Bishop Gorman, and Gorman is bringing the heat with him to SoCal.
And 55-game winning streak also. You're going to look at a Monra St. Brown. Still a game-time decision. You know, Mater Dei, they don't need him to play, but it would be nice. I think this is the guy to pay attention to, though, for Mater Dei. Jacoby Harper. They're looking to run the ball a lot more this year with Tommy Brown leading one of the best offensive lines. You're getting a look at Nico Remigio right there. Solomon Tuliaupupu, I think he might be the difference tonight.
The fact that you could say that is
impressive, right? My stepmom's Fijian, so I got to have those names down, all the Samoan names and stuff. So, you know, CJ Parks is playing tonight. He's a big-time playmaker. This is going to be a fun game, man. You're going to look at the highlights for Mater Dei. JT Daniels, though, he's the guy. Threw for 5,000 yards almost last year and 67 touchdowns. Was a sophomore player of the year. And it's early, but JT Daniels and Dorian Thompson-Robinson are going to be in the thick of things when it comes to National Player of the Year this year. There's DTR. He's a UCLA commit. All he did, Steve, in his first career start as a quarterback for the Las Vegas Power, perfect quarterback rating of 158.3, 5 total touchdowns. Almost 300 yards passing. You're going to look at... It
wasn't against like some bad team or anything.
The best team from the DMV area, DeMatha, you know, a team that went undefeated last year. But DTR, man, super, super impressive. And, you know, their defense is nice too. Palei Nayo Tiote, stud. He's a USC commit, top 10 recruit. He was a factor all last week against DeMatha. So this is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to come down to the biggest key in this one. Which young secondary steps up more, because they're both going to have a lot to handle with both these offenses. So a lot of talent, but very inexperienced in the secondary. That's the big factor tonight.
And you're looking at the top 25 right there. 1 versus 2. We're going to get to number 3 coming up here in just a minute. But those are your top 25 teams heading into the weekend. We'll have a scoreboard for all those teams. You know, some teams are going to go down. It happens every week in our top 25. But you're looking at those right now. Let's get to some comments here.
Who are people picking in that game?
Yeah, I want to know that. Leave your Facebook comments right now. Tell us who you got. Bishop Gorman, do they continue their win streak, or does Mater Dei step up big time and win at their home stadium there tonight? So let's get to some comments. Chris says the 7A region in Georgia is the best in football, hands down.
You know, they're up there. I don't know if you can really say anyone hands down, because there's so many competitive leagues and stuff. So
Josh says, let's talk about some Florida teams. We talk about Florida teams. We started the show off talking about some Florida teams. We're going to talk about another Florida team coming up here as they're traveling out to
one Florida
California.
team I'm very impressed with, especially last week. They beat Bishop Sullivan Catholic, and that's American Heritage. They did it without Patrick Surtan II. He's the #1 corner in the 2018 class. So they showed they're much more than just Patty Surtan II. You got Andrew Chatfield coming around the edge, Nesta Silvera, big-time defensive tackle, and then Tyson Campbell, 5-star. They're nice.
All right, and Joni wants to talk about Central Catholic and Marin Catholic. That's a NorCal battle going down. That should be a good game. Quit versus BF in Pennsylvania. Lowndes against Colquitt. That should be a good one.
Yeah, Colquitt, the very young team, but they got a lot of talent there.
Sammy wants to know give me one strength of Long Beach Poly.
Oh, a skill position set. I mean, you just look at their wide receivers, and obviously the quarterback, Matt Corral. But you got Jalen Hall there and Keon Markham, you know, 2 studs to throw the rock to. You know, Pauly's issue might be on the offensive line, but they you know, they were good enough last week to let Matt Corral throw for 400 yards. So
that's pretty good. All right, Mike says he's got Bishop Gorman all the way. Brian Vista Del Lago opens up their new stadium tonight against Pondo.
Who you taking?
Man.
Who you taking? Come on, Steve.
I'll go Ponderosa in that one. Upset.
Shocker.
All right. All right, let's get to another matchup in Southern California. This one, though, is down in San Diego, and it's happening on Saturday. This was one of the best games last year that we saw. It's a rematch, and it's IMG versus Centennial.
Yeah, any other week, this would be the game of the week, but we got #1 versus #2. As usual, IMG Academy loaded. You're going to look at 2019 Alabama commit Trey Sanders taking that one 90 yards to the house in their 27-14 win against Chandler last week. So this will be back-to-back weeks for IMG that they'll be balling on the West Coast. This is a very talented team. Might be their best running back, though. That's Noah Kane, a top 10 recruit overall in the 2019 class. Denton Geyer transfer. He's a stud. They're loaded on defense. It's going to be a fun matchup. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Centennial can contain Xavier Thomas, Teron Vincent, Nolan Smith on that D-line. One thing's for sure, though, Centennial, they know how to score some points.
Yep.
Tanner McKee last week, 6 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing. This is the X factor, I believe, for Centennial, though, tomorrow night. That's 2020 recruit Gary Bryant, absolute stud. Tanner McKee, though, he had a good game last year against IMG Academy. They lost 50-49, so scoring,
that's a good one.
Scoring wasn't an issue for Centennial last year. They got to replace some studs, but I tell you one thing with Matt Logan, man, it's a system thing. It's like the New England Patriots. Every year, you know they're going to be one of the best offenses regardless of who leaves because he's always got guys coming back. They run one of the best systems, and the crazy thing is this year, they're even more efficient on offense. You know, they get a first down and the ball's hiked within 5 seconds after it's marked down. So it'll be interesting to see how IMG's defense plays, especially if I know it's down in San Diego, so it's going to be a little cooler.
Yeah.
But see if the defenses wear down and see how that goes. But the big thing for IMG is, can Arthur Sitkowski, the quarterback, hang with Centennial if it's a, offensive game?
Yep. All right. Chad says he's got Gorman 34-21 over Mater.
What do you got?
I'll save my opinion on that
All
one. All right. Isaac wants to know how come Cartersville in Georgia with the #1 quarterback isn't in the top 25? Are they on your radar?
They're close. They looked very good last week, against Bartram Trail, a team out in Florida. They got a guy, Joey Gatewood, an Auburn commit that's really good. They nearly blew a big lead, but, Trevor Lawrence threw for over 400 yards.
We got those highlights up on the site right now.
Check him out. The only thing better than his arm is probably his hair. So
that's true.
But he's actually the #2 quarterback because you got Justin Fields, another Georgia guy. They're the top 2 recruits overall. So, Georgia, they're good with quarterbacks. So
yeah, and if you're going out tonight to any game, sign up to be the official team reporter for your team to get those live updates coming
Especially if you're in Hawaii, Kahuku High School. Yeah, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah. All right. Perry says Bishop Gorman should have had their streak snap last season, St. Thomas Aquinas, but hey, it didn't happen.
The ref didn't throw the flag on Bubba Bolden, so.
All right.
But, yeah.
Donnie says he thinks Bishop Gorman loses because they're not at home. So he thinks.
Hey! I mean, last year they had obviously Tate Martell, Haskell Garrett, and a bunch of other studs.
Yeah.
Bubba Bolden. They rolled down to SoCal and beat St. John Bosco, a team that won the CIF state championship. So
all right,
they're pretty accustomed to rolling down to SoCal and winning.
Yep. All right. Ben says, can we talk about North Penn against Downington East?
I'll talk on Facebook about that one, baby.
Yeah, it's a good game out there. So best of luck to those teams, and that. Brian says he loves how Centennial competes against national powers.
Yeah.
And speaking of a national power, De La Salle will get a pretty tough game this weekend. De La Salle's in the top 25 and should be a good matchup for the Spartans.
Yeah, number 13, They had a very young team last year, very experienced this year. You're getting a look at Henry To'oto'o, 5-star linebacker in the 2019 class. This was a 79-yard pick 6 last week in their 42-7 dub against Amador Valley. You know what De La Salle loves to do. Smack you in the mouth on defense and run the rock on offense. Kerry Robinson had a couple of touchdowns last week. They got a young running back, Shamar Garrett, who they're going to use a lot more this year to kind of ease off the carries on Robinson. So they got a nice 1-2 punch in the backfield. Garrett, I believe, is only a sophomore. So they're using both these running backs efficiently. De La Salle, very good defense, very good offense. Inexperience at the quarterback position, but I think the 2 running backs make up for it. St. John's, very talented team. They came really close to beating DeMatha last year twice, fell a little short. You're getting a look at Keelan Robinson right there. Only a 3-star. You can book it, take it to the bank. He'll be a 4-star at least by the time this season's over. One of the best playmakers. You got the defense right here. Mikal Sherman there, a top 2020 linebacker. This will be the key for St. John's tonight, though. Kevin Doyle, the quarterback, he threw for nearly 304 scores last week. in their season opening win against Jones, 49-30. So this is going to be a fun matchup. De La Salle's actually lost their last 2 games against out-of-state opponents, so they're hoping 3rd time's a charm maybe.
Yeah, and they got a later season matchup with Bishop Gorman on the road.
I think that's a couple weeks away, so might have to go to Vegas, huh?
Yeah, I think we should. All right, we'll get to some more comments in just a minute, but the state of Texas gets going this weekend. It's hard for us to go a whole show without at least talking about one Texas great matchup.
We'll get in trouble, so if we don't.
That's right. Allen. We're going to see Allen. They got a good matchup coming up.
Yeah, Allen, you know, a team that hasn't lost a regular season game since 2012. You're going to look at Grant Tisdale right there. He's a top junior quarterback, number 4 dual threat QB in the 2019 class. Most talented quarterback they've had since Kyler Murray. All Kyler Murray did was win 3 state titles, never lose a game. Only player ever in MaxPreps history to be back-to-back National Football Player of the Year. Theo Weiss is going to be one of the main reasons why Tisdale is going to have a big year. He's a 5-star wideout, number 3 wide receiver in the entire 2019 class. I think this is the guy that gets their offense going, though. That's Brock Sturgis, a 2018 Arizona State commit, big-time running back. He's fun to watch. He had to split carries last year with Kirby Bennett, who's no longer at Allen. So Brock Sturgis, number 1 on the depth chart, and he's going to get a little more carries this year, I think, too. He's a stud. Hey, Cedar Hill, man, they always got playmakers. This cat right here, Joshua Fleeks, he might be the fastest player in all of Texas. He's a 4-star Baylor commit. He's got moves, spin, juke, tough guy to tackle. Cedar Hill also has some other studs too. You got, you know, Cam Fleming in the backfield, and the secondary is going to get tested tonight. They got a couple of studs though, Courtney Ogilvie, a Navy commit, and Donovan Collins, a TCU guy. So this is going to be a fun matchup. I got Allen though. I think they're just too talented, have a good defense, and we talked about that trio on offense. So,
all right. I know, Zach, we'll get to all your Facebook comments after the show. I know Jacob wants to talk about some Oregon football with you. So,
all right, let's do it, Jacob.
You and him can talk about what he's seen out there in the state of Oregon. And Jarvin says we're giving the West Coast a little bit too much love.
Hey, so we talked Florida a little bit. We talked Texas. We talked Louisiana. Come on, man.
All right. Hey, we love you guys chiming in. We love communicating with you about big games, as we like to see them all around the country. So, best of luck to everyone playing tonight. If you're heading to game, remember to sign up, score those games. So you're providing live updates from the game you're at. I know Zach loves to follow along, so do I.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's Zack Poff. I'm Steve Montoya. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck to everyone out there playing tonight and this weekend.